Hello everyone, welcome back to the Jump Force Characters Review. Today's review, we are reviewing a Bleach character which we haven't done since the first episode. Oh boy, and I'm not kidding when I say we are covering Aizen. And to be honest, I think Aizen's the worst Bleach character in the game. Now, I'll get into that momentarily, but let's talk about Aizen, his moves, and how to fight him. So Aizen fights with his Zanpakuto as well as his Hado most of the time. He can also teleport during combos, which makes him a very tricky opponent actually, because you're not going to really know the timing that well against an Aizen unless you study carefully and take a lot of time learning how to counter an Aizen player. And there's Bakudo number 81, Airtight. This will create a giant wall for 6 seconds, and if your opponent runs into it, they do take damage. Otherwise, it's not really meant for anything. But if you can get that off, you can get off another one of his moves, which we'll go into, since, like Amaterasu, it is a tricky one to talk about. His right trigger X, as you also saw earlier, was Fiery Lightning Howl. This is Aizen's best move. It goes so well with all of his... Basically, he can emit electricity out of his fingertips and knock you back a little bit, as well as a stun. And while it can be used in the air, I don't recommend it because it kinda sucks. So anyways, with the airtight combo, you can go into his right trigger Y, his most intriguing maneuver, Black Coffin. And what Black Coffin does, it creates an AoE Dark Coffin effect where if you do connect, this thing does so much damage, but the big problem is Black Coffin takes 10 full seconds as well as 3 full meters to get it off. However, the nice benefit of Black Coffin, I guess, is the fact that you can cancel it and you can just get some AoE damage off if you really need it. Other than that, Black Coffin is so risky, and while it does do a good amount of damage, do I really think it's worth it? No. I mean, it'll be up to you. So I'm going to show you how much damage Black Coffin does, and then we'll continue talking about Aizen after that. Here we go. I got it off first though.
Now that's a lot of damage!
As you can see, it does a lot of damage, but the problem is you're left so wide open, and while you can cancel in time, a lot of people will just feel the inclined to get greedy just to get as much damage as they can out. And here is Aizen's ult, Hado number 99, 5 Dragon Destruction, and oh boy, do I have problems with this ult. As you saw the rest of that ult there, it is a dashing ult, but it's so slow. See, with Zoro's, you can combo into it from one of his moves. If Aizen's sure you could try to do that, but it's just so slow than the rest of the dash ult. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does a good amount of damage for what it's supposed to do, but I don't really like it that much because of, you know, how slow it is and how the dragons don't look as good. Other than that, Aizen is just basically going to be teleporting around trying to get a good combo off or two, as well as trying to get in with Fiery Lightning Howl. And while it can be charged, you gotta be careful when to use it and when not to use it, because sometimes your opponent can just go after you cast the spell, or Hado I should say. As for assists, I recommend for Aizen, you definitely want someone not only you can use for combos, but you also want someone who can help you get Black Coffin off, because that is Aizen's biggest thing. And if you get that covered, then you should be good to go. Assist people used around all the time was Toguro, but then since the nerfs of Toguro, I haven't seen a lot of people use Toguro. What I would recommend is a character who can do an attack, but knock your opponent back if they get close. So, someone like Pegasus Sia is my personal favorite. He and Kaguya basically do the same thing. But the only problem with these two is that if your opponent does hit one of these assists, you're going to have to play as them, and I feel like Kaguya and Pegasus are a little bit more difficult to play as. So, if you want a knockback assist that is also great to play as, then you gotta get Zoro. Zoro's assist will be a great knockback, and you do get hit with that. Zoro, as we talked about before, is easy to play. One more thing I want to go over before I rate Aizen is the fact that with Airtight, some attacks can go through as well as certain ultimates, such as Pegasus' attacks. They can go right through Aizen's shield, as well as ultimate. So if you're fighting a Pegasus as Aizen, well, you may more than likely lose, all things considered. But with that out of the way, what do I think of Aizen? I do think he's the weakest Bleach character on the roster at this point in time. But I know some people would disagree with me, because, you know, some people don't like how Renji plays. They don't like Renji at all, it seems a bit. But I prefer Renji over Aizen. Aizen is not terrible, but he feels limited when you don't understand how Black Coffin and Airtight really work. So because of that, I think a 6.5 is a fair score for Aizen. The only reason he's as low as he is and not higher is because, you know, Black Coffin's very difficult, and Airtight just feels kind of useless once you figure out how to get around it. Other than that, Aizen's just he's just okay. Give him a whirl if you're bored, but don't expect anything too crazy. Well, that's just going to do it for this Jump Force character review. We have covered Aizen, and next time we're going over a One Piece character in celebration of Trafalgar Law coming out. But after that One Piece character, we're covering a Dragon Ball character again, because the theme with these next three characters I'm going to go with is I feel like these characters don't get a lot of attention, and I think it's time we give them some light. Thank you folks for watching this review, and I will see you all later.